A massive thank you to Mr210, Paul, Jason, RHR and Ayana for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with the penultimate race of Season 4 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from the USGP, would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Some great racing back in COTA. But today, though, we finally got a new upgrade on the car. Yes, the final power unit upgrade from Honda has come in, so we are now just behind Red Bull in terms of performance there. We're back on par with Mercedes here. We only have one upgrade left to go in the game. We've got all of the new upgrades sorted as well. That one, the turbo failure analysis, should be on the car very shortly as well there. But yeah, let's dive in then. Mexico this weekend. We're going to have two championship finales, of course, from both this series and, of course, the Williams Road to Glory coming up very soon. Both titles have already been decided, it must be added. But yeah, Mexico's always been a good track for us here on F1 2021. Fingers crossed we can finish this weekend on a high there. Because yeah, the gap between Hamilton, Tsunoda and myself is still looking mighty close. Well, maybe, just maybe, this last Honda upgrade has given us the key that we need to really be able to challenge Red Bull and Mercedes once more at the front. But round in the final corner to complete our qualifying track acclimatization.
Get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners together.
Only the green score there. To be honest, I'm tempted just to do another run, but we don't need the points. Getting ready, though, to start our qualifying simulation run. Have got to be a bit careful this weekend as well, because the ICE is looking rather worn out, so we might have to take some penalties before we get into the race. Not 100% sure just yet. The only other thing I'm looking at is the turbocharger, but that might just be able to survive the last few race weekends of the year. It really does depend on whether we'll have to take penalties for them or not. But yeah, this thing certainly still does not lack top-end speed, and we're running quite a high aero setup still. It's the only way I feel this car works now in F1 2021 is by just running massive aero packages. At the final corner to come towards the end of our qualifying sim run. Oh, less than a tenth out.
The data we needed on that run. You might want to give it another go.
That was a little bit gutting, but at least we got the pace this weekend. We've really struggled for one lap pace in COTA. Let's dive into qualifying here in Mexico. Right, well, qualifying day then here in Mexico City, and it looks like we could actually get some changeable conditions this weekend. So for the first time in a few weeks, we might actually get some Q1 footage. Of course, the aim is just to go out, set this banker on the soft tyres, because again, like I said, it's meant to get wetter and wetter. As I might have forgot about the ICE. I love having the memory of a sieve on F1 2021, so we're going to have to get through qualifying then on this worn-out ICE, and then transfer it over ready for the race. Shouldn't make much of a difference on one-lap runs, of course, because the energy store is obviously working overtime to give us all the hot lap battery, but that's rather annoying. Heading down in through Sector 3. Top guy's already getting close to those 111s. What are we going to be able to do? So a little kick of oversteer there through the penultimate corner. Round in the final turn, though, up towards start-finish line. It's going to be a 12.5. So that's pretty much bang on the money then. That should see us nicely through into Q2. But we've got fighting pace this weekend. And there we go then. The heavens have opened as we head into Q2 here in Mexico. Often these sorts of conditions have suited us, but not so much on one lap pace. So fingers crossed we can try and get a good lap hooked up here. So we head down in towards the final couple of corners. Bottas sets a 23.0, so he's going to be the benchmark then at the start of qualifying. But again, the track could still dry out before the end of Q2 here, so we're just making sure we don't do anything too stupid, because of course, yeah, it might end up being a big over a blast on a setup by the medium or soft compound tyres right at the end of the session there. But back into T1, trying to get this thing slowed down from 200 miles an hour there with surprisingly little dramatics. Might just tweak the brake bias though slightly. Already running quite a forward-facing rearward brake bias this weekend, but we're just going to click it one further. Ricardo now down into the low 23s as we head through the final couple of corners. Hasn't been a bad lap so far, but certainly hasn't been one set the world alight either, I don't think. But as we head in towards the final turn, really got to be so careful running on the power there. Red Bull are looking fast this weekend, but A 22.3?
Put in the fastest lap. Good job.
Right, okay, we'll have that then. Thank you very much. Yeah, apparently that lap was pretty good. There we go then, the end of Q2. We do make it through into the final stage of qualifying once more there, which, to be honest, in recent weeks we haven't been able to say all too often. But Hamilton fastest there, so Red Bull look rapid in the dry, Mercedes look rapid in the wet, and we're kind of just sat somewhere in the middle at the moment, hoping we can spring a surprise in Q3. And heading out then for our first run in Q3, the track is just getting wetter and wetter. At the moment, I'm starting to wonder whether perhaps all this ICE wear is actually doing us some favours. You know, just having that little bit less power means we can roll the car out of the corners just that little bit easier here. So we head out of the final turn, down the start-finish straight. Fingers crossed this first lap on the full wet tyres is going to be a competitive one here. We're still, running that 52% brake bar, so we have got a couple of laps worth of fuel in the car. I'm tempted just to do a couple of laps here, see if we can just try and spot out a good one. Still, I think just trying to get this thing stopped from 200 is always going to be a challenge in the rain. Right, rounding the final couple of corners then to come to the end of our first run. Again, really trying to attack the curbs in a few spots, but as we head through the final turn, let's just wait and see what we can do as we head up towards the line. It's going to be a 25.6. It's not the best lap in the world, I'll be honest. There's definitely a lot more time to find those. Purple through Sector 3. That's where we're fast, but now we've got the banker in. Fingers crossed second run there. We're less than a second off fastest so far.
Down the order. You're now in P7.
Yeah, now we've got our eye in. I'm hoping we can try and find a bit more pace on this second run. Really nice run through the S's that time. The pace is coming as well with it. 1 second up at the moment. Purple through Sector 2 as well. Oh, a little bit wide though. Down in towards the final couple of corners. We do pick up a warning there. But are we going to be able to get this done as we head down through the final couple of twisty bits? A little bit tidier there. Attack the curbs through the final corner. 1.2 up as we roll on the power. Up towards the line. It's only going to be P2 on the grid. At the moment, we're going to have to come back in, go on to another set of tyres there, because I don't think we're going to be able to get much more running out of these ones that's any quicker. But we are definitely in the fight for maybe our first ever pole position in the My Team series. Yep, haven't had a single one so far. Well, in the end, then, no more pace we could find in the car as the track just got worse and worse as the session gone on there. But P2 on the grid. We still, like I said, yet to take a pole position in the My Team series there. But starting alongside Max Verstappen on the front row, seems, Honda might have just given us the key here. Let's dive in to the Belgian... What? Where am I going? To the Belgian Grand Prix. We're clearly in Mexico. Yeah, I'm going to put a new ICE in the car. Let's get it.
Here we go then, it's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from third on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.6 miles of track that allows drivers to take full advantage of their cars, reaching speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and providing lots of opportunities for overtaking. The circuit features 17 corners, 10 to the right and the remaining 7 going to the left. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. They recently gave an interview with a less than glowing evaluation of the team's performance. What's your opinion on that?
Anyone who publicly criticises their team is walking a dangerous line. Sure, sometimes people need a kick up the rear, but more often than not, they need support and encouragement. I can't imagine they made many friends back at the factory with those remarks.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and talented Spaniard Carlos Sainz completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc, Joe, Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, Bottas and George Russell, Stroll, Ocon, Nikita Mazepin and Tsunoda. Islet, Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi. Lundgaard, Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, They've taken a grid penalty and Mr. Monaco. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then on the grid ready for the Mexican Grand Prix, and a lot of grid penalties all up and down the order. Max Verstappen, I'm sure, not really too bothered about taking pens at this stage of the year. Of course, championship now completely wrapped up for the Dutchman, but yeah, we had to take some penalties, so I thought we were going to get a 10-place penalty anyway, so I thought we may as well just get everything sorted to see us through the final couple of rounds of the campaign. Gutted now, knowing obviously Max has taken penalties. We could have started from the pole, but instead we start from P22 here in Mexico, though. 36 laps ahead of us. Team recommending the good strategy this time. Medium, soft, soft. And I just want to get right into it today. We got to try and defend from Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' World Championship. We could mount a challenge on Yuki. 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there. And apparently I just did not respond to those lights as we head down the long, long run towards Turn 1 there. Normally a good opportunity to try and make up some places, but I think for us this time round, we're just going to see if we can pick up the scraps as everyone heads down in towards the first corner. Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing off the start there, around the outside of our former teammate Christian Lundgaard, and maybe at the inside of one of the Haas cars as well, side by side with Schwartzman on the exit as we immediately try and put some heat into those rubber. Now we're having a look at Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. I mean, these Williams and Haas cars are so slow at this stage of the game there. I mean, yeah, they are genuinely fighting for 107%. And genuinely fighting for some track space as well. That one, I'll hold my hand up and admit, I might have given them a bit more of a squeeze than I probably should have there. Thought one of them might back out, but Giovinazzi and Schumacher both, yeah, fighting for their seats in Formula 1. I think fighting for a better seat in Formula 1 as well here. I mean, look at this as we head through the final sector, or into the final sector of the lap there. These guys so slow. As Schwartzman tried to come across me there, we're going to go for a... What is this? We're down the inside and Schumacher just is like, right, I'm turning in, don't care. But Perez therefore leads his home Grand Prix at the end of lap 1, and could we see actually Checo Perez has had some of the worst luck around Mexico in this career mode so far. I think he's DNF'd in both of the last 2 Grand Prix here from really good positions. This could legitimately be a chance for Sergio Perez to take a race victory this weekend. But yeah, we've sort of got our own things to worry about early on. Giovinazzi up next though, fingers crossed we can move back past him. And again, immediately, it hasn't taken us long before we're all over the back of Gio as we head up the second straightaway. He's going to try and go defensive, but we're going to send it up the inside and hang the Alfa out to dry. Well, we're back up the 4 places then we gained. A bit of a dramatic start as we got Stroll and Gasly going side by side, but now hopefully we're getting in the groove. Look at the run again. We get on the Williams as all Latifi, big old squeeze. It is genuinely like trying to race a car in a multi-class series against these back markers now. Williams, yeah, I'm pretty certain have not done a single upgrade all year since they had a pretty good midfield car at the start of the campaign. So yeah, poor Callum Ilott, who joined them at the halfway stage of the season, kind of got forced out of McLaren for whatever reason.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Had such an explosive start to the season as Callum Ilott. I mean, he's comfortably ahead of pretty much everyone else in the bottom 3 teams. Someone's got issues though. And we've kind of been given the place. No, it's Lando. What's happened to Lando Norris there? I think he's had contact with someone, so we're ahead of our teammate. And Lando Norris, I think, has gone side by side with someone through the first couple of corners. And he has been sent to the rear of the field. All right, come on then, Gasly and Sir Lancelot as we head out onto lap 4.
We're low on fuel. Start lifting and coasting. Let's conserve what we have left.
Really not too worried about that here as we head down towards turn 1. Stroll going very, very defensive there, but almost 220 miles an hour in towards the first corner. Gasly's pulled off the move. Is the Aston Martin going to get the DRS back on him? I don't think he will, so he might be a bit of a sitting duck as we head down this second straight there. But Honda power, baby, as we go to the outside of the Aston Martin. That's going to be another textbook move. And we're now up at a P14 of the race. Can Gasly and I work together as this race goes on? I have to wait and see. I always worry when we come back to Mexico.
Behind is 4.0 seconds.
That wasn't exactly what I was worrying about as we always go back to Mexico, but I feel like always everything happens down the start-finish straight. Or down, obviously, this second straightaway there as all Gasly was willing to put up a big, big fight for that position, but we are now up into 13th. Unlucky for some, hopefully not us. But yeah, there's no point risking a move elsewhere, especially when you got a car this fast down the straights, even though we've got all the downforce on it. Purple through Sector 1, let's just get inside the DRS range of the next cars. And I think this is why Mexico lends itself so much to these last question mark challenges, and why, you know, in the past we've had so many good runs from the rear of the field here. It just makes sense to take grid penalties at this venue, as we now on to lap 6. Are we going to be able to get a run on George Russell there? It might be 10 places gained in just 6 laps to the outside of the Aston, who again tries to run me deep through T1. But again, we pull off the move. There's Guan Yu Zhou and Yuki Tsunoda come together. And that's going to catch out Mazepin on the exit there. And that might be 2 for 1 on the exit of the corner there. Right place at the right time. And there we go. Up now into the points here at the Mexican Grand Prix in a 3-car overtake down through the first sector of the lap. Not quite how you'd expect it to go, but we'll have that, thank you. As Yuki Tsunoda there, one of my championship rivals, now the next car in front.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
Here we go then, Tsunoda trying to have a look on Esteban Ocon there as they head back down towards turn 1. Sure, there's still a little bit of resentment from Ocon, the fact Tsunoda got a seat he thought he could have deserved. Of course, with his old ties to Mercedes. But not this time round there as we head back through turn 1 and turn 2. Not quite going to be close enough to the Alpine, I don't think, unless we can get a monstrous run here. He's not particularly fast as we head down the straight. And we might be able to catch him napping here. No, Ocon! I thought we might be able to catch him napping, but he knew exactly what he was doing there. Thought about going for a send into the stadium section, but it really just made no sense. We may as well wait for the DRS and slingshot ourselves back up towards Yuki Tsunoda in this Grand Prix. No confidence heading out the final couple of corners, but then again we are on harder rubber. Team recommending a new strat. They're still saying the same sort of thing, so we're not going to worry too much about that. To the outside, Ocon to the outside of the Alpine. We're going to be miles clear of him by turn 1 there, but not a fan of that little wobble down the straight. To be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised at the moment. Ooh, as we start lap 10.
You're gaining on the car ahead.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I'm quite surprised we're still taking time out of Yuki Tsunoda. Can't imagine it's going to be long before he decides to box in this race, but the fact we're pretty much closing in on the Merc still on harder rubber is pretty reassuring. Maybe Honda have legitimately given us the key for Season 5. Oh, there we go. First pit is in. It's going to be Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. The first ones to blink in this Grand Prix, but we are on a very different strategy to the rest of the field. But I'm just looking at Checo, still up there in the lead, thinking, could this really happen this weekend? I would love to see Checo win his home race. There we go. Even more into the box then. It's going to be Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. So almost now up into the podium places there, as we're just outside the 1 second mark from Yuki, but I think, yeah, we're going to see all the top 3 pit now. Quite surprised none of them have gone mediums at the start.
By 12.2 seconds.
But then again, I think this race could be completely dictated by if we get a safety car. Oh, there we go, Tsunoda in at the end of lap 12, like I predicted. But Perez going another lap here. The tyre-saving king back at it once more. He's 17 seconds clear of me there as Verstappen, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, starting to close up the gap. Red Bull are still definitely looking like the team to beat at the moment, but who will come out on top this weekend? And there we go, Sergio into the box there, but he's actually gone onto hards. So Sergio Perez mixing it up. He's going to try and go to the end of the Grand Prix on a set of hard tyres by the looks of it. Looks like he has been undercut by Verstappen and maybe Charles Leclerc as well there. So sticking in the DRS now is going to be crucial for Checo, but he could be under so much pressure late on in this race. But now he's got a pit stop over basically everyone. That makes things rather interesting here, as we're going to box probably the end of next lap. I think this kind of stresses the desperation currently going on down at the teams like Haas there. We're not even halfway into this Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher already a lap down here. It's not looking great for them. They need a huge rebound come next season. Only ever scored points, I think, once in the entirety of my team, and that actually came at this race all the way back in Season 2, if I remember correctly. But we are going to box the end of this one then, as Verstappen is really closing in. Right, around in the final corner then, coming into the box. Let's make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidily. Take out all the last use of those tyres, and we do just about get it slowed down into the pit lane then. So Verstappen is going to take the lead here in the Mexican Grand Prix, and at the rate of knots he's pulling out from Sergio Perez, unless Checo gets a really well-timed safety car, I'm not optimistic for him at this stage of the day. 2.8 second stop for us isn't too shabby. McLaren have been really good this weekend. Their Mercedes have been nowhere, as Lando decides to box as well.
We have to stop once now. One stop left.
We come back out right behind Yuki Tsunoda then in this Grand Prix. We might be able to try and apply some pressure down in towards turn 4. Got to try and get the tyres up to temperature. But yeah, really no idea why Mercedes have struggled so much this weekend. As can we get the run on Yuki Tsunoda then? Not the best run out of the chicane. Can add the slipstream though. No DRS of course. Can we do what we tried to Ocon? No. Tsunoda again just firmly slamming that door right in our face. I think one of the best things about racing at Mexico on F1 2021, like it has been over the last couple of Grand Prix seasons here, it's a two-stopper, but you do not want to use the harder compounded tyres, so it really does feel like every single lap is a qualifying lap here on F1 2021 as we close down the gap to Tsunoda back into turn 1. He's going to go defensive, we're going to go deep on the brakes around the outside there. A bit of movement from Yuki in the braking zone there, but round the outside we go. Up into P8.
Great pass.
Team really happy with that. When it got a little bit sketchy, but fingers crossed now we can get the DRS off Hamilton and Bottas and maybe look past them soon as well. Starting lap 18 then of this Mexican Grand Prix, and we're all over the back now. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Are we going to be able to have a look down in towards turn 1 here? Hamilton isn't on Valtteri there, and I thought about it. All saying that, we might be able to get the run round the outside. We go. And there we go, we have pulled off the move on Lewis Hamilton, squeezing it over the curbs through turn 2, and I think we completely took him by surprise through those first couple of corners there. Now we're going to leave the Mercs duking out behind us, but it gives Bottas some breathing room for one more lap. But round the outside, yeah, the 10-time Formula 1 World Champion, of course, finally been knocked off his perch at the top of the sport that he's dominated for so many years. 9 championships in the last 10 years. Of course, he won that record-breaking 8th Formula 1 World title with this man as his teammate. For controversy in the final race of Season 1 when Bottas was forced to pit in for whatever reason. We still never quite knew whether it was a puncture or what that forced Valtteri into the box there. But he's been to some different teams since then, Williams and McLaren. Two teams you might not associate with Valtteri, but he's done pretty well and have constantly proved himself as a formidable force. Genuinely quite intrigued to see how he gets on at Alfa Romeo in real life next year. But now we're ahead of him in this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo next up the road. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Someone up the road has got an issue. Please don't tell me it's Sergio Perez. No, it's Giovinazzi. So that's not really going to make much difference in this Grand Prix. Harsh, I know, but completely true. As Gio was way down the order. Are we going to see a safety car? I don't think we are from that one. As new fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well.
21.8 seconds.
Closing in on Daniel Ricciardo as we head back down towards turn 1 there, but definitely no safety car, as we're not quite going to get close enough to the Aussie for a send. But as long as we stay close, look how much grip we've got over the Australian there. He kicks out the back end, trying to get the run out of turn 3, but are we going to be able to get the run now? As we head down the back straightaway, Ricciardo defensive to the outside, 100-metre board. Given the room on the apex, we'll clip the curbs through the next part. And now up past Daniel Ricciardo and back up into P5 of this race. How Ferrari are suddenly Red Bull's biggest threat this weekend, I'll never know, but not going to knock it. Nice to see another team battling at the front. What a recovery year it's been from Ferrari. They just need to try and carry the momentum. So Verstappen then first again to blink into the pits at the end of lap 20 there, so rather early from the Red Bull, and he's gone hard tyres.
We won't have enough fuel for the end of the race. Consider adopting a more conservative strategy to preserve what you have left.
Team still moaning about the fuel there, but very odd from Max Verstappen, as I thought he was going to go mediums and then still have the pace over his teammate Sergio to the end of the Grand Prix, but we're taking like a second and a half a lap out of Checo Perez at the moment, so why Red Bull think that's the way to go? Ferrari have been given an open invitation here to potentially steal away this Mexican Grand Prix, of course, if they can reckon they can take the mediums to the end. The yellow flag's out, though, in Sector 1. One of the Aston Martins think they've just had a small issue by themselves. Is it a small issue? No, it looks like they are going slowly. Is it going to be Lance Stroll? Is it going to be George Russell out of the Mexican Grand Prix? And more importantly, is it going to be a safety car here with just 15 laps to go? Heading through the final couple of corners. It is George Russell. Is it going to be a safety car? I don't think so again. So safety cars that have been so commonplace in the Mexican Grand Prix before now look like, yeah, Bert Mylander's got a pretty easy time of it. There we go, just a couple of laps later, Charles Leclerc into the pit lane. Could we see Checo maybe go for a second stop here and go soft tyres to the end and really try and challenge these guys once more? But Leclerc's gone mediums, so that makes a lot more sense than what we were expecting from this GP there. Is he going to come out? Yeah, he does come out behind Verstappen.
We're seeing a gap form.
But yeah, Verstappen really struggling there as Schwartzman nicely gets out of the way. Just flashes back up on the proximity arrows though through turn 1. But yeah, Checo, we are closing in rapidly. This race is not over yet. We could still have a sniff at this. There we go. Carlos Sainz next up into the pit lane. I think if we want any chance at this though, we've got to try and have closed completely up to Perez before we box. However, Perez, yeah, he might pit again. For all we know in this race there, as the gap between the Red Bulls now pretty much exactly even as we head back down towards turn 1 there. That was a nice little chunk of curb. But yeah, Perez though, that gap's still coming down, at least a second a lap. End of lap 25 then. Haven't quite closed up to Sergio Perez, but we are going to box at the end of this one. Tyres have actually hung on really well throughout this stint there, as we have got some yellow flags. Oh, 49 into the pit lane. That's what we love to see there. Is it one of the McLarens with issues? Or have they just come back out of the pit lane here? If we get a safety car now, that would kind of screw us in this race. But onto another set of softs to see us through to the end. Team a bit sluggish. Another 2.9. They're not brilliant pit stops from the team this weekend. But Gasly's going to come in from behind.
See these tyres through to the end now.
And we're going to get some slipstream straight away off Lundgaard as we head back out of the pit lane there. No blue flags, but we're going to send it back up the inside. Lundgaard doesn't really want to play any games with us. But yeah, now we've basically got 10 laps to the end of this race to see what we can do and see if we can close up to Sergio. Oh, there we go. Another new fastest lap of the race. That's what we like to see, with just the lap slowly ticking by. Got another lapped car coming out in front of us there. I think we're now trying to navigate the two Williams. But I think we took about 1.6 out of Charles Leclerc that last lap. But again, the Ferraris should be quicker than the Red Bulls at the moment. As Ilott, yeah, needs to go out the way for us. Bit gut we don't get any DRS. I think he's going to move now. Thank you very much, Callum. We'll see you at the end, mate. Or maybe into the next corner there as he tried to dive me. That would have been bad had he, well, Esteban Ocon us, but hey-ho. Oh, there we go, Nicholas Latifi. What a babe. Giving us the DRS as we head back down towards turn 1. Thank you. We'll have the extra top end speed there. And the Nutella boy, yeah, we will, if we get a podium here, we'll certainly let him have a picture with the trophy.
Right, some information on Hamilton. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
And that might explain Hamilton's issues this weekend then. Hamilton, Mercedes confirming they've got issues with the car. Often the high altitudes here of Mexico can really stress the engine, and Hamilton's torrid season. He watched his championship fall away from him completely last time out. Might not even see the end of the Mexican Grand Prix there, as the gap to Charles Leclerc down to 3 seconds. 5 laps to go, and we are still motoring. 4 laps to go then here from Mexico, and it looks like Mick Schumacher is really costing us all a lot of time there. What is that from Mick Schumacher? Come on, man, you've got to be able to get out of the way better than that. On the exit of the corner, they're clearly not able to put the power down, as we just skimmed into the back of him. Doesn't feel like we got any damage from it, so that's okay. But now, yeah, we can see 4th, 3rd and 2nd. Sergio Perez, oh, still a few seconds up the road there. That's how hard we're pushing. But we are all closing in on the Red Bull, and it feels like every car is quicker than the one just in front of them. Should get the DRS now on Carlos Sainz as we head out of the final corner. Yes, we will. So that's super important now. 3 laps to go here from Mexico. Leclerc and Verstappen look like they might start battling up the road there. Ferrari haven't quite got the top end speed, as well as some of the other teams there around the outside of Carlos Sainz. It's a big, brave move, but we get the car slowed down despite being on the curbing, and we'll now claim P4 in the Mexican Grand Prix here. Verstappen and Leclerc less than 2 seconds up the road, and if they continue to battle here, we might be able to get past them. As you can see, Sergio Perez is only a couple of seconds ahead of them. Now just 1 lap later here, we've got the DRS on Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen here. Of course, Leclerc's going to get the DRS on Max, so they might get very, very close back down towards turn 1. Are we going to see Charles Leclerc be able to get a run on the Red Bull. Doesn't look like he can. Red Bull have actually got phenomenal top-end speed round here. But as we just close up through turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 there, can we put the power down on the exit of the corner? Are we going to see Leclerc go for anything on Verstappen? He's gaining, but again, the Ferrari can't do anything, so we'll try. We'll try around the outside of Charles Leclerc there, and we've tried that move a couple of times today, and it hasn't played off. But this time round, we pull off the move and up into P3 of the Mexican Grand Prix here. Sergio Perez still 2 seconds up the road, though, so we need to try and get round Max Verstappen, ideally before the end of this lap. These tyres, though, definitely starting to come to the end of their usable life, as Sergio Perez still leads the way. But 1 lap to go here from Mexico then, as we just try and get all over the back of Max Verstappen here. He's still closing in on his teammate. Sergio Perez is on some dead rubber as we're about to start the final lap here in Mexico. Are we going to be able to perform the upset? Is Max Verstappen going to be able to defend from us either?
The race gap to teammate behind is 35.0 seconds.
Look at this on Max Verstappen as we head back down towards turn 1, clean around the outside of the Red Bull car, and we will now move up into P2 of the Grand Prix. Tried to keep the nose there into turn 1, but we were having absolutely none of it as we tried to put the power down on the exit of the corner there. Sergio Perez 1 second away as we head up the back straightaway there, but he's got another blue flag. Nikita Mazepin, come on man, don't get in the way. Oh, Mazepin, he might just have ruined it for me. We don't lose too much behind him, but it certainly hasn't helped us out as we try to head down in towards the S's. What is the pace of that Red Bull going to be like through here? Can we keep it hooked up just on the white lines as we head through there? But I think the tyres are just about giving up in the latter stages of this Grand Prix there. Sergio Perez 1.3 as we head down in towards the final couple of corners. It's been a valiant effort at the end of the day, but as the confetti flies, it's often been a Red Bull track, but for the first time, Sergio Perez is going to send Mexico into raptures there. He wins the Mexican Grand Prix, and just 2 seconds separated the top 3 at the flag.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull. After a long and hard-fought season, they built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Mexican Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez takes back-to-back race victories here, and finally, after so much bad luck in the Mexican GP of seasons gone by, is finally going to make it his there. Pole position, didn't quite get fastest lap, but made the one stop work just. Only just. At the end of the race there. But we come from last on the grid to second there, 1.2 seconds away from the last to first challenge there. Max Verstappen P3 ahead of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz there. Really good to see Ferrari back in fighting form there. 5 cars separated by 4 seconds at the end of a race there, with no safety cars or anything like that, is kind of insane there. Yuki Tsunoda in 6th, Bottas ahead of Gasly, Norris and Hamilton there. I mean, Red Bull are going to become Constructors champions there. 3 different teams have wrapped up the Constructors inside the last 3 seasons. We are at an insane point here in F1 2021, my team there. You can see the rest of your finishers there, just Russell and Gio not making it to the checkered flag there. Championship-wise, 12 points back now behind Yuki Tsunoda there. Perez actually jumps Lewis Hamilton as well. Goes to show the despair that has been Hamilton's season up to this point there. Leclerc gets the jump on both my teammate and my former teammate. Jenson Button there is now Lando just 1 point behind JB. Surely he's got to outscore him come the end of the campaign there. But Constructors-wise, we're still 19 points behind Mercedes. That could still swing in the final race of the year if things go really, really well for us. Pretty much everyone else, though, has been decided looking at it, unless we get a miracle in the final race weekend of the year there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon for a Brazilian Grand Prix finale to finish off Season 4 of the My Team Career Mode. You guys do not want to miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel supporters. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aidan, Estasios, Kato, Sean, Johnny, McBlam, Mighty Spork, Tazief, William, and Nanon for becoming channel members. If you want to be featured at the end of all these videos, make sure you just click the join button down below.